now. Good morning, folks. I see Alana and Peter here on the line. Thanks for taking the time to join us this morning. As you may have noticed, we had a little bit different of a registration process this week with having folks register through Eventbrite. So it's more to do with bookkeeping on our end, but I appreciate you guys being flexible and making sure that you're staying in the loop on these types of weekly briefings. Today's presenter is a familiar face in a new role. Dan Newberry has been involved with the Chamber for several years in several different capacities and is the newly named co-director of the Veteran Business Outreach Center at WWBIC. As you all know, we work closely with WWBIC and we work closely with the VBOC, so we're excited to see Dan in that new role. And I asked him to join us today because, as you may have seen last week, we have partnered with WWBIC. WWBIC has really taken the lead on this, but we've partnered with WWBIC to create a loan fund specifically for veteran-owned businesses. A really critical resource that hasn't been in existence. I want to make sure to shout out to Bank of America and Alana and her team for making this happen. But we're really excited to have this resource and excited to have Dan here to share more information about it. So Dan, go ahead and take it away.
Thanks for the intro, Saul, and it's good to be here this morning. I know we're all living in some crazy times and the virtual life, and I'm sure a lot of us have Zoom fatigue. But again, it's nice to be on a call with some familiar faces. As Saul pointed out, I am the co-director for the Veterans Business Outreach Center here at WWBIC in Milwaukee. I cover all of Wisconsin and half of Minnesota, and okay, it keeps muting on me, so I don't know what's going on here. All right. So again, as Saul said, I'm the co-director for the Veterans Business Outreach Center for Wisconsin, as well as part of Minnesota. I do have a colleague. Her name is Makiba Butler, and she covers Illinois. But we're both based out of here in Milwaukee. The Veterans Business Outreach Center is an entrepreneur educational program administered by the Small Business Administration. And what that does is we provide classes and support to veterans looking to start businesses or that are currently in business. We also, during the pandemic, we have been working really closely with the Small Business Administration to get veterans their PPP loans and EIDL loans and help them through that process. Right now in the state of Wisconsin, we have done about 32,000 EIDL loans to the tune of $1.7 million. So that's a huge impact. Almost 11% of the businesses here in Wisconsin are veteran owned. So that's a lot of work. It's been a kind of a roller coaster ride for me being new to this role. But again, we're here as a support system for veteran owned businesses and military spouse owned businesses as well. With that being said, the Chamber of Commerce works really closely with WWBIC and Bank of America, and together we have formed what's called the Veterans Loan Fund. And what that is a loan that starts at about $25,000 and can be combined with any other loan from WWBIC up to the tune of $250,000. So if you know of any veteran-owned businesses out there or veterans that want to start a business, this is a really good opportunity for them to either get the aid that they need or start their business. So yeah, there's just a lot going on right now. It's crazy times. This past Friday, we met with Administrator Jovita Carranza from the Small Business Administration, and the temperature of the room was great. I can tell you that through the pandemic and the financial crisis that we are currently facing, entrepreneurship in our state is still really strong, and we're still continuing to move forward, even though there is a bit of a struggle out there. And that's really all I have for you guys right now, except for, let me get the date for you. I'm just going to shoot off my screen. We have an event coming up. It is a summit for military spouse. It's a military spouse entrepreneur summit, and that's also administered by the Small Business Administration. That's going to take place August 19th from 1 to 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The event will be joined by Second Lady Pence, as well as some other keynote speakers and individuals to help military spouse entrepreneurs in their businesses. So it's a really good summit, a lot of guests, a lot of information, key resources. So it's there, it's for you. Go ahead and you can go to the small SBA and you can register for this event. I'll send Saul over the link so he has that and he can share it amongst his network. Outside of that, I'll open it up for questions.
And folks, in the chat box, I will put a link to the Veteran Loan Fund that's being offered by WWBIC, so that if you have any interest, you can follow up there. Dan, could you, just to get kind of the ball rolling, could you go through some of the details of that loan fund? What's involved? What types of loans or what amounts of loans folks can expect? What terms? And how they can essentially what's going to be needed if they're interested.
So if you are interested in the loan fund, the first thing you would have to do is go ahead and register with the VBOC and fill out the client form for WWBIC. Second piece of that is making sure that, one, you have your record of service, so DD-214 or the equivalent of. You can, and then you'll need to complete a business plan. You'll have to have your financials in order. So all those little things that you would need. And again, Saul will post a link to that, and then it has all the specifics in there. But just ensure, through all the clients that I work with, I can't emphasize enough how important it is to have your business plan in order, along with your financials forecasted. So that's the two big pieces that you really need to ensure that you can acquire those finances successfully.
One thing that makes us really excited about this loan fund is that it's not a standalone loan. WWBIC has a lot of different loans and financing opportunities, and this can be combined with other WWBIC funding sources. So I think the maximum amount that can come from this particular loan fund per loan is $25,000, but that can be combined with other WWBIC products as part of a larger financing package. So this can be used for really, of course, determining, depending on things like credit and qualifications and all those types of things, but these loans can have a lot of flexibility. They can be used for capital expenses. They can be used for operating expenses, purchasing equipment. It's a really exciting resource to be able to have online. And again, I want to make sure to recognize that this was provided through Bank of America, who we work closely with as well. They deserve a lot of credit nationally. They've been putting a lot of capital into investing in veteran-owned businesses. So Bank of America deserves a lot of credit for making this happen. Dan, can you talk through, in addition to what the VBOC does, some of the other resources in the SBA network that we have here in Wisconsin, things like the SBDC and others?
Yeah, so here at VBOC, we like to, we're kind of the central hub for veteran business owners and inspiring entrepreneurs. And once you reach out to VBOC, one thing we'll do, we'll connect you with the appropriate resources. So we work with the WDVA, we work with SCORE, we work with the SBDCs, micro lenders, you name it. We have a connection there. We have a relationship there so that we can empower our local veterans, to be successful. So, and I think you touched on something, Saul, there when you were talking about the Veteran Loan Fund that I kind of wanted to add to that is a lot of times with our clients they may have a sketchy, financial past or whatever, but that's what WWBIC is for. WWBIC is a as a micro lender. They've been around for over 30 years. They've been there they're there for individuals that couldn't get the financing conventionally. So they're an excellent resource. They're probably one of our strongest partners. So right now in the current situation that we are in, a lot of businesses are looking for extra capital, and here in the state of Wisconsin, WWBIC is probably by far one of the best. And then one thing I did want to add that I didn't touch on earlier is it's going to be even more important to take advantage of this loan fund and some of the resources we do offer. As of August 8th, I don't know if you know, but the PPP fund is going to expire. So that's it. So it's really important that these business owners reach out to us and we can connect them with these CDFIs.
Dan Krause has a question. Is WWBIC loan limited to women?
Absolutely not. They started as a woman entrepreneurship resource, but over the years they have expanded. So no, it's not gender specific whatsoever.
I can also echo that, Dan. We've worked with WWBIC in a number of different capacities over the last 5 years, and they really do work with everyone, regardless of gender, regardless of ethnicity, veteran status. They're a generally available resource for any business owner. Any other questions that we have on the line for Dan? One question I have for you, Dan, is one thing that we do quite often with VBOC is run the Reboot to Business classes. Can you talk a little bit about those and if there's any scheduled on the calendar coming up?
Sure, we do have a Reboot. So the Boots to Business program, the B2Bs are for active military service members that are in transition through the TAPS program. And then we have the Reboots, which are for veterans and their families. So it's extended out to their families as well. So you would go on SBA and you would register for the VBOC, and then you put your demographical information in. We do have a class on September 18th that we're going to be doing virtually. So those links will be going out here shortly. We also are going to be doing a in-person on September 23rd at Fort McCoy. So there's some opportunities there, and that information will be coming out here shortly. One thing I did want to add, WWBIC is hosting the State of State. So I believe you got the invitation for that. So he can share that as well. So there's a lot of things happening. We're a lot of moving and shaking. So it's exciting to really get started here and work with all of you.
In the past, we've had members who have volunteered to be presenters at Reboot or Boots to Business classes. Is that still an opportunity? And if so, how would anyone who's interested get involved in that capacity?
Yeah, if you're interested in teaching one of the modules, just please reach out. Let us know. You can email me at dnewberry@wbic.com. Just let me know that you're interested in presenting. We can set up a discussion and determine where your strengths are. There's 8 different modules. If you want to teach, budgeting or business plan or what have you, legal structure, several different modules that we offer. And we do look for presenters for those modules.
Great. And I just put your contact information in the chat box as well. And I'll be happy to follow up with all the folks that are here today to make sure that you have these links and Dan's contact information. Lastly, Dan, we have about 10 minutes left before we break for the day. Can you give an overview of the resources specifically related to COVID that the SBA is offering right now? I know you mentioned EIDL loans, PPP loans. Could you just give a quick review of those for anyone on the line who may not be as updated with those programs as changes have come out and new regulations and FAQs have been issued? Could you just quickly give a rundown of what resources the SBA is offering to help with COVID?
Yeah, let me pull up my my list of resources here, just to make sure that I get them all. So as I stated earlier, so as of July 24th, there was $130 billion still available for the deadline on August 8th for the PPP loans. There's a PPP loan forgiveness application form that you can fill out on the SBA. There's also the Community Advantage Recovery Loan. So there's the Carl pilot that's going to be going out shortly. Those loans those loans have become available as of July 22nd, and the loans must be approved by September 27th. The term of those loans is a 5-year minimum. So all that information is available on the SBA's website. Also, if I remember correctly, and if you have any issues with, I don't know if any of our members here have applied for the EIDL loans, but there has been some issues with those moving through the system with the SBA. Make sure that you're reaching out and contacting either a VBOC representative or an SBA representative, because when the pandemic happened, they were essentially just bombarded with applications. So everything is moving, it's not moving as fast as they'd like it to. So if you don't hear anything, don't think that you're not approved. Just reach out and we can help you with that process.
Okay. With that, unless anyone has any other questions, we'll wrap things up a little bit early here today. Dan, thank you very much for taking the time to join us. For those of you on the call, as I mentioned when we first got started, we had a little bit of a different process for the call this week. Going forward, we're asking folks to register for our weekly calls. You can register for all of them at once if you'd like. It helps us track participation and attendance, and helps us have a good idea of not only the number of our members who are participating in these, but also in the case of webinars like today, when we need to follow up with folks and get resources out there, we can do so much more easily. So thank you for being flexible. We'll be using the Eventbrite platform going forward. If you have any issues or run into any problems, obviously please reach out to me directly. A couple of housekeeping things before you go. You signed up to participate in one of our Veterans Chamber networking groups. You may have woken up this morning to find one or several calendar invitations for those networking groups. Those are getting started the week after next. We're working on lining up presenters and speakers for those groups, but there will be a combination of information presented, subject matter experts, as well as networking opportunities. It's not the same, obviously, as being able to meet in person, and we obviously miss doing that. But in the meantime, we want to make sure that we're still building relationships and building connections where we can. I believe that is the extent of the programming that we have on the calendar. The only other thing I wanted to draw everyone's attention to was in our newsletter, which went out on Tuesday. Many members don't realize that we have several different cost savings and discount programs that we offer to all of our members. Discounts and cost savings on things that I am sure that you are already purchasing for your business. Things like office supplies, travel supplies, basically anything under the sun that you can think of, service providers. So one of the benefits that we provide to being a member of the Veterans Chamber is to help you save a little bit of money on those things that you need to run your business. So I'm going to, last thing that I will put in the chat box here will be a breakdown of all of those cost savings and discount programs that our members qualify for. There's a potential for substantial cost savings for your business if you take advantage of some of these. So just putting that link in the chat box here, please feel free to check it out. If you have any questions about those cost savings, please let me know. Dan, I see put a link to the upcoming Military Spouse Entrepreneurship Summit. Certainly looking forward to that. I will be there. And with that, we'll wrap things up a few minutes early here this morning. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to join us. Thank you, Dan, for taking the time to lead our webinar this week. And we will see everyone next Friday morning. Take care.
Thank you, guys.